I'm recording this in advance, so I can't really read you current headlines, but I wanted to share a headline from December 15th, which is OpenAI suspends ByteDance's account after it used ChatGPT to train its own AI model. You could just sit and think about that for a while. Also, 3 headlines from when Mercury was stationing on the same day, December 15th. Delta Dental of California announced a data breach, the information of 7 million people. Twitch, the platform Twitch, has revoked a policy that allowed, quote, artistic nudity. TikTok requires, as of December 15th, TikTok requires users to forever waive rights to sue over past harms. TikTok also added a section that says that all legal complaints must be filled within 1 year of any alleged harm caused by the app. And Cox Media Group claims it has the capability to listen to ambient conversations of consumers. So I know that's old news to you. And it's called active listening. So until now, there was no evidence of this, but now there's evidence of it. So you're not going crazy, and Zuckerberg is gaslighting you. Hopefully, by the time you're seeing this, it's been sent to the printer, but this is what it looks like. December 25th, Monday, Christmas, if you grew up in a Christian paradigm, and even if you didn't, if you grew up in the West, Christmas is within you. So Venus trines Neptune on Monday, Christmas. That's fun. That's like eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die. I'm kidding. There's not really. I mean, it's true. I'm not kidding. Death is a part of life. So that's pretty romantic and could be really wonderful. It's Venus in Scorpio, trining Neptune. So there's a chance that the transgression of boundaries you desire ends up being a liability, ends up leaving you hanging in the town square for people to throw lettuce at you. And the full moon is on Tuesday, and also Tuesday, the moon sextiles Jupiter. It also opposes Mercury, which is annoying, trine Saturn, which is defendable. So the full moon in Cancer every year, what have we built up over the past year? All the ambitious Capricorn stuff, all the taking care of business. What has that yielded so that you can have a nice time with your family around this time? What did you establish this time last year that has grown into something that allows you to take care of yourself and others? That's the full moon in Cancer. That's the moon with dignity in the sign of Cancer, feeling good, opposing the sun in Capricorn in the winter. Something I appreciate, the full moon doesn't always coincide with the Western holiday of Christmas. But for this year, a full moon around Christmas, like Christmas happens, the moon is waxing. The moon is waxing in Gemini, so that's likely to be a pretty chatty. I appreciate how Christmas is like a private holiday. And I'm a pretty private person, so of course I enjoy a private holiday, but both Cancer and Capricorn are about boundaries in different ways. In Cancer, you have the soft, delicious crab surrounded by a shell, and this is also armed. And a house, your beautiful, lighted house, your like Thomas Kincaid, cozy little, it's dark outside, but the house is lit up and warm, and the hearth is all fired up. That requires a boundary. So Cancer, at its best, still requires Saturn. And these signs are opposite each other. So in opposition is tension. It is, sorry, now you can see I'm wearing a nice top, but I'm also wearing sweatpants. So after all you've done in the work, all the work you've done in the world, you get this private holiday that's meant to be spent with family or those closest to you. And you might not always get to have everyone you'd like, which is a hint of the distance of Saturn, the cold distance of Saturn. A full moon in Cancer is like your final form. What have you made for yourself to nurture yourself to be where you are at this kind of status check, family holiday? And what is your potential? What would you like to establish and build for next year? And is there anything that has stunted your growth that you can avoid next time? Really, I think nothing truly stunts your growth if we're talking about, I don't know. I was going to say if we're talking about like spiritual growth or wisdom or growing as a person, but you could have the mindset that nothing truly holds you back, just if you're being held back in some way, or if you did things over the past year that if looking back you think held you back, you still potentially needed that experience so that you can grow more fully now that you've realized the impediment. And this is a very one-on-one Christmas this is a very one-on-one like nurturing the relationships that result in nurturing our bodies and souls and lives. And sometimes when I'm saying dates here, these are when the aspects go exact, but sometimes when it's applying a couple days before, whatever it signifies can kind of pop off. Wednesday, Mercury makes its second square with Neptune. Again, kind of a hot mess. And also the Sun trines Jupiter. So as you remember from last week, Mercury has been trining Jupiter. It's trined Jupiter twice, 2 of 3 times during this season, during this Mercury retrograde. And on Wednesday, the moon also conjoins Mars, it takes that Mercury-Neptune square and it makes it more pushy, more oriented towards accomplishing something, whether that's persuasion or figuring something out, but it's a square with Neptune, so you're going to try harder to figure it out, and it's going to turn out maybe you still didn't figure it out. You're going to look back on it later and be like, I did all that work for nothing. And Mars-Mercury is also needles. So a couple of the Mercury retrograde story arcs end up merging on this day, and Mars is involved, so it's a little it's kind of bombastic. And if you sense an argument brewing, you may not want to engage because it might not be very productive. If I sniff out, if something feels like it's brewing on that day, I'm not going to engage, or I'm going to try my best, because sometimes we can't, sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes we just get roped into conflict. And with the heavy Neptune signature of this, it might be quite possible that you wake up and find yourself in conflict and you don't know how you got there. So maybe you enjoyed too much of the Venus trine Neptune. But Mars and Mercury really want to get things done. They want to figure it out, and they also want to have it out. It's a Mars and Mercury in a fire sign, so that's visible conflict and very overt. The moon also sextiles Uranus on Wednesday. So this could be a surprising, confusing, exhausting day. Irritating. And Mercury signifies travel. On Thursday, the moon trines Neptune and Venus. So an echo of Christmas. Potentially what was nice and maybe numbing or romantic about Christmas. And Mars also squares Neptune to kind of be like, what the is their problem? Or what the hell was my problem? You might look back on this time. It might not be immediate. You might still be fuming. The last time Mars squared Neptune was March 14th, 2023. That was Mars squaring Neptune from Gemini. So now Mars is in the opposite place, squaring Neptune again. So it's something similar. I remember in early March, I was angry about stuff that now I'm like, that was not necessary. And then the moon opposes Pluto, so possibly you got yourself into deeper trouble than you could have imagined. But then the moon moves into Leo, so a little more levity. And Venus sextiles Pluto. That's Venus in Scorpio sextiling Pluto, so quite an opportunity for some sexy corporate espionage. Friday, not much happens. Friday is blessedly chill. If not chill, it could be pretty active because Venus moves into Sagittarius on Friday, which is exciting. Exciting and adventurous and a little bit hairy. Horned. The moon also squares Jupiter before that on Friday. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is in a sign ruled by Venus, which is moving into Sagittarius. So Venus is moving into mutual reception with Jupiter, which when planets are in each other's signs, they can help each other. They can call each other up and say, hey, can you send me that thing I forgot from my house? So that seems nice, even though Mercury is still retrograde and in Sagittarius. So Venus is joining this Mercury retrograde, the aftermath of this persuasion, hot mess, sales. And Jupiter stations direct on Saturday. So Friday, there's like a shift, and Jupiter gets pretty loud because that happens when planets station. So Saturday, the moon squares Uranus. It squares Uranus in Taurus, an earth sign, trines Mercury in Sagittarius, a fire sign. Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, an earth sign. The moon trines Mars in Sagittarius, fire sign. So it's like a burning log. Like Jupiter stationed direct, the log finally caught fire. You've been trying to light a log with just a match for like who knows how long. And now you can move forward. We got the fuel. Sagittarius and Taurus are off axis from each other. So these are kind of two separate areas, but the energy is like this, like fire and earth. And on Sunday, the moon moves into Virgo. Virgo is a much more level-headed sign. However, Mercury, ruler of Virgo, is in Sagittarius. So kind of all over the place, kind of trying to do 20 things at once. And still retrograde, but stationing direct on Monday, January 1st, which I'll talk about next time. And although the moon opposes Saturn on Sunday, so that's like quite serious, like Mercury's being silly in Sagittarius with Neptune and Mars and Venus, that's like quite the feast. Ruled by Jupiter and Taurus, they're like feasting in Sagittarius, being the ghost of Christmas future, and it is a ghost. The moon's opposing Saturn, also ruled by Jupiter and Taurus, which the moon trines at the end of the day. So the weekend's on a nice note. Remember, your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.